rAVe Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary K.
Hey everyone, this is Gary K, and thanks for joining me for another pre-InfoComm rants and raves. We've been talking about a lot of the new cool products that you're going to see at the show next week in Las Vegas. One of those companies that's going to show a bunch of new stuff is Epson. Ramzi Shakra from Epson, product manager at Epson's joined me. Ramzi, how are you?
Great. Thanks for this opportunity.
Well, I appreciate you joining me. Lots of new stuff going on at Epson. Let's jump right into it because you'll be in the North Hall in booth 2331. And I'm going to start with something old, then we're going to move to something new because one of my favorite products y'all have come out with in the last 5 years has been the LightScene. And that product not only brought projection into the digital signage market, but also some interactivity and art. And you're going to be doing that in your booth again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have some light scenes in there. We've got a really creative media production company. As we usually do at InfoComm, we'll have an area with some very interesting immersive mapping exhibits.
Yeah, and the light scene is great for that because it's got the form factor of a track lighting system, and it's 360-degree head. You can turn any way you want because it's laser projection.
Absolutely.
And obviously, interestingly enough, timing-wise, couldn't be better because Microsoft introduced Front Row a few months ago, and you have a whole line of projectors. You know, the thing about Microsoft Front Row is they want a 21:9 display to do it right. And you have a whole bunch of projectors, a whole line of projectors to do very widescreen, ultra-wide projection. You're going to be demonstrating that in your booth, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll have a hybrid meeting room demonstration in the booth. And we will showcase this super widescreen that you can do with our projectors. And as you know, with people returning back in the office and some people still working from home, it's that much more screen real estate required to give everybody equity, right? Whether you're in person or remote. Not to mention the chat boxes that are going on the side and whatever's being presented. So really, projection does give that ability to give an affordable way to create this really large screen. And beyond just going large, you need to go wide because at some point, if you keep making a 16:9 image larger and larger, it's just going to go to the foot of the wall and nobody can see it over the desk right in the meeting room.
Or the floor.
Exactly. So with a 21:9 aspect that we can move up to the very top part of that raster, you're really going to see a lot of information on that screen.
Yeah, and projection is uniquely positioned to solve this problem because all the flat panel displays are all built 16:9. If you start tiling those, then you start having bezels in the way. And if you go to LED, it's very expensive compared to projection. So your cost per square projected inch is much less expensive.
Absolutely.
And speaking of projected inch, at ISE, you introduced a 20,000 lumen, very lightweight, like half the weight and half the size of the previous version, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited about showcasing that. We've been working on it for the last 2 years in development. It's so great to actually be back in a live booth setting to kind of showcase it. And it's part of our new 13,000, 16,000, and 20,000 lumen series. And the 20, like you said, it's 60% smaller, 50% lighter than our previous 20. In fact, it's the world's smallest, lightest 20,000. And really, you have to see it in person to really realize just how small it is and how much more you can do with it when it gets to that size.
Yeah, and obviously, the weight and the size makes a difference because it increases the number of places it can be installed, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Not everyone has a big booth built for large projection, but there's a lot of applications where you need much brighter. We're building auditoriums and we're building lecture halls, for example, with lots more light, and people don't want to sit in the dark anymore because we're having to collaborate, which means that where we used to use a 10,000 lumens projector, 20,000 makes a difference, and we want to replace the projector that's up there now as opposed to building a box around it. So that is a big difference. That is a big helpful thing there. And so what else can we expect? We're going to be heading to InfoComm next week, and you're in the North Hall in booth 2331. Obviously, Epson always impress. Anything else that we should be looking for?
Well, we're showcasing as well some of our fixed lens projectors. They now go up to 7,000 lumens, and we're showcasing. You can also do some amazing things with regards to edge blending and kind of immersive spaces with lower cost fixed lens projectors. It's not all these kind of expensive interchangeable lens. You can do a lot with fixed lens. We'll be showcasing those projectors as well. So
yeah, and obviously Epson is the world's only full 3 LCD fully laser projector company. Everything is laser, everything's 3 LCD, so you're
yeah,
getting higher colorimetry, and of course LCD is what pretty much used in everything else that you see. So everyone's used to the look of LCD. Well, I appreciate you joining me, Ramzi, and of course we're going to be going by there not only shooting product videos on all this new stuff we talked about, we're also going to do a booth tour, which is going to
yeah,
be fun. I love doing booth tours in your booth because you always have really cool stuff going on, and I'm excited to see your art installation. You always impress with that. That's always, the immersive exhibits that you always do are always good, are always well received. So I appreciate you joining me to talk about all of this, and we'll see you next week. Again, Epson's in booth in North Hall, 2331. Ramzi, I will see you personally next week.
yeah. Thanks so much, Gary.
And everyone, thanks for joining me. You can see all of our pre-InfoComm video casts and all of our news at raypubs.com.
With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves.